Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into the world of Eminem today. We're going to be using his Wikipedia page as our source, and let me tell you, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, it's amazing how much information is packed into a Wikipedia page sometimes, especially for someone like Eminem. You know, he's had such a long and varied career. I mean, he's a rapper, songwriter, producer, actor. He even won an Academy Award for Lose Yourself.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still can't get over that. Lose Yourself is such a classic. And it's crazy to think that his journey, like all this, it all started in Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit, a city with such a rich musical history. And for Eminem, it wasn't an easy start. He had a pretty rough childhood.
Yeah, it sounds like he faced, a lot of adversity growing up, like poverty, moving around a lot, bullying. I mean, all of that must have had a profound impact on him.
Absolutely. Those experiences really shaped his perspective, and you can definitely hear that in his music, that grit, that determination.
Yeah, you can definitely feel that rawness, that authenticity in his lyrics. But there's also like this incredible wordplay and humor too. Where did that come from?
Well, a lot of it can be traced back to his early exposure to hip-hop.
Yeah, like how did he even get into hip-hop in the first place?
His uncle Ronnie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ronnie was a huge influence on him, like a mentor. Really encouraged his passion for rap. They used to listen to records together all the time, and Ronnie even gave him his first tape recorder.
Oh, that's so cool. So it sounds like his uncle Ronnie played a key role in sparking his interest in music.
Oh, absolutely. Ronnie was a huge influence.
Wow.
But tragically, Ronnie committed suicide when Eminem was just 16. Devastating loss for him.
Oh, man. 16, that's so young to lose someone so close, especially someone who believed in your talent, like a mentor. I can only imagine how difficult that must have been for him.
It was a turning point for sure.
Yep.
Fueled his determination to succeed. I think in a way he channeled that grief into his music.
I can see that.
And you can see that drive early on, like at 14. He was already sneaking into high schools to participate in freestyle battles.
Wow, 14, that's pretty impressive. So he was already like honing his skills, developing those complex rhyme schemes that would later become like his trademark, right?
Exactly. He was a regular at this place called the Hip Hop Shop on West 7 Mile Road.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that place.
Yeah, it was legendary in Detroit's hip hop scene. That's where he really cut his teeth, battling other rappers, pushing himself to get better and better.
It's amazing to think that like these underground battles were like the breeding ground for such an iconic artist,
It's where it all began.
But even with all that talent, it sounds like his early career wasn't easy. I mean, he was part of a few groups before going solo, right?
That's right. He was in groups like New Jack, Soul Intent, and even D12, which would later become pretty successful.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it just shows that he was always working, collaborating, experimenting, even before his solo career took off.
Right, so he was paying his dues, putting in the work. And then there was Infinite, his debut album in 1996. That didn't exactly set the charts on fire, right?
Oh, it's true. Infinite wasn't a commercial success. It was a disappointment, yeah.
Yeah.
But that failure, that feeling of being overlooked, I think that became a turning point for him.
Oh, so
It pushed him to dig deeper, find a new voice. And that's where the Slim Shady persona was born.
Ah, Slim Shady. Now things are getting interesting. So this alter ego, this darker, more provocative side of Eminem. It's like everything changed after that.
Oh, it did. Slim Shady was raw, unfiltered, unapologetically angry.
Yeah.
He tackled controversial topics with a twisted sense of humor,
Right.
channeling all those frustrations and rage that had been building up inside him.
So it was this shift to this darker, more provocative style that caught the attention of Dr. Dre.
Yes. Dr. Dre discovered Eminem through the Slim Shady EP.
Okay.
An intern at Interscope Records, they passed it along to Jimmy Iovine, and he played it for Dre. And Dre, well, he was blown away by what he heard.
I can only imagine. Hearing Eminem's raw talent, the intensity of his lyrics, it must have been a revelation for Dr. Dre.
It was.
But I understand that some people question Dre's decision to work with a white rapper.
There was definitely some pushback.
Yeah.
But Dre trusted his instincts. He saw something special in Eminem, and that trust, well, it paid off in a big way.
It sure did. And then the Slim Shady LP dropped in '99, and it was a game changer, like triple platinum by the end of the year. But with that success came a lot of controversy. People weren't ready for those raw, often offensive lyrics.
It was a cultural earthquake for sure. Some people were shocked, outraged. Others saw it as brilliant, groundbreaking art. It sparked a huge debate, censorship, freedom of speech, the role of music in society.
And amidst all this controversy, Eminem was forming a strong bond with Dr. Dre, both creatively and personally.
Yeah, their partnership became a defining element of Eminem's career.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a producer-artist relationship either, it was a real mentorship, genuine friendship and respect for each other's talent.
You can feel that synergy in tracks like Forgot About Dre and Guilty Conscience. They were a dynamic duo.
For sure.
And their influence on hip-hop, I mean, it's undeniable.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Eminem wasn't just rapping on these tracks, he was producing too.
Oh yeah, he's got a real knack for creating beats, crafting those sonic landscapes that perfectly complement his lyrics.
Exactly.
So you have this incredible partnership with Dr. Dre, this explosion onto the scene with the Slim Shady LP, and then boom, in 2000, the Marshall Mathers LP drops.
Another masterpiece.
It became the fastest-selling hip-hop album ever, surpassing even Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style.
Phenomenal achievement.
That album was raw, honest, deeply personal.
It was.
He was exploring his struggles with fame, his relationship with his mother, his place in the world.
It resonated with millions of listeners.
It did.
Even if some of the content was controversial.
A real Slim Shady.
Face.
Stan. Those singles were everywhere.
Stan.
Oh, man.
With that haunting Dido sample, the narrative about an obsessed fan. Instant classic.
It landed on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time list.
Rightfully so.
It really showcases his storytelling ability, his talent for creating those captivating and unsettling characters and narratives.
Stan was a game changer for storytelling in hip-hop.
It was.
And the Marshall Mathers LP, despite the controversies, it solidified Eminem's status as a major force in the music industry.
Absolutely. And he didn't stop there. He launched his own record label, Shady Records, in 2000, signing D12, giving a platform to artists like 50 Cent and Obi Trice.
He wasn't just a rapper anymore, he was a mogul, a tastemaker.
Shaping the future of hip-hop.
Building an empire.
His influence was extending beyond his own music.
Yeah.
He was fostering talent, giving opportunities to other artists, shaping the sound of hip-hop in a big way.
Yeah, and the hits kept coming.
2002, The Eminem Show arrived, exploring themes of fame, family, his evolving place in hip-hop.
Showed a new level of maturity in his music.
He did.
A willingness to reflect on his journey, the impact of his words.
But of course, controversy wasn't far behind. The Just Lose It video. With that Michael Jackson parody, it caused a major uproar.
Oh yeah, that video pushed some buttons. Even Stevie Wonder criticized it. And The Source, which had previously supported Eminem, demanded an apology.
And then there was the Mosh video, released just before the 2004 election. Powerful anti-war statement.
Directly targeted President George W. Bush.
It showed a political consciousness. That surprised some people.
He wasn't afraid to use his platform to express his views.
Even if it meant alienating some fans.
It was a bold move, cemented his reputation as an artist who wasn't afraid to speak truth to power.
And then came Encore in 2004, another chart-topping success.
It was.
But there was a noticeable shift in tone on this album.
There was. Encore marked a turning point in his career.
Yeah.
There was a darkness creeping in, a sense of weariness.
Like he was battling some personal demons.
And it started to show in his music.
And sadly, those demons eventually caught up with him. He took a hiatus from music, entered rehab in 2005 for an addiction to sleep medication.
It was a tough time.
This followed years of struggling with prescription drug abuse.
Something he's been open about in his music.
It was a dark period for him. Addiction, the death of his close friend Proof, the immense pressures of fame. It seemed like Eminem might be done with music for good.
There were even rumors of a final album, The Funeral.
Oh, wow.
But thankfully, those rumors were false.
They were.
Eminem wasn't done.
He just needed time.
To heal, to rediscover himself.
And that rediscovery
led to one of the most incredible comeback stories in music history.
Relapse in 2009. And recovery in 2010 marked a new chapter for Eminem.
He was back.
But he was different.
More introspective, more vulnerable.
His lyrics reflected this hard-won wisdom, a resilience.
That resonated deeply with fans.
He had faced his demons.
And emerged stronger.
Recovery in particular was a phenomenal success. Best-selling album worldwide in 2010.
He was back on top.
Selling out stadiums, winning awards, proving that he was a survivor. It's an amazing story of perseverance. But even with this triumphant return, his career wasn't without its challenges.
No.
The controversies continued, he explored new creative avenues, and his music continued to evolve.
There's still so much to unpack. His later albums, his business ventures, his feuds, and of course, his lasting legacy.
It's amazing to think after all that success, all those challenges, Eminem never stopped pushing himself creatively.
You're right, he didn't rest on his laurels. Like in 2011, he reunited with Royce da 5'9".
Oh yeah, for Bad Meets Evil.
Yeah, they released Hell, the sequel.
Yeah.
Debuted at #1.
Wow.
Proved that his collaborative energy was still there.
It's like he was defying the typical career arc of a musician.
Yeah.
You know, constantly reinventing himself, staying relevant.
And then there was the Marshall Mathers LP2 in 2013.
And another massive hit.
Huge success.
He became the first artist since the Beatles to have 4 singles in the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously.
I know, it's incredible. That album was really interesting.
How so?
It revisited themes from his earlier work, but with a more mature perspective.
Yeah, I can see that.
Showcased his growth as an artist and as a person.
Like he was reflecting on his past.
With a mix of nostalgia and introspection.
The accolades kept coming, too.
Oh, yeah.
2 more Grammys for the Marshall Mathers LP2, and his collaboration with Rihanna on The Monster.
It seemed like he was unstoppable.
And then in 2014, he released Shady XV, a compilation celebrating 15 years of Shady Records.
What a legacy.
It's a testament to his impact as a label head, a mentor, a tastemaker in the hip-hop world.
He really did become a kind of godfather of hip-hop.
He did.
Paving the way for a new generation of artists.
And he also expanded into other creative areas, like executive producing the soundtrack for the movie Southpaw in 2015.
Oh yeah, that was a great soundtrack.
It was a natural fit, given his own story of struggle and resilience.
Absolutely.
And then he even ventured into television production with the series Motor City, inspired by the film Narc.
Wow, I didn't know that.
It's impressive how he keeps exploring different creative avenues.
Even after achieving so much in music.
But even with all the success, controversy wasn't far behind.
Right.
His feud with Machine Gun Kelly in 2018
Oh, yeah.
showed that he wasn't afraid to engage in those lyrical battles,
Yeah.
even with artists from a younger generation.
He's a competitor at heart.
He is.
Always pushing himself, challenging others.
And then there were his political statements,
Yeah.
particularly his criticisms of President Trump.
Remember that Beat T cipher?
Oh, man.
Where he just dismantled Trump with his lyrics?
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
He was using his platform to speak truth to power.
Even if it meant alienating some of his fan base.
It showed a lot of conviction.
Courage.
And that brings us to his latest album, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, released earlier this year.
The title itself is pretty suggestive.
It is, like a shedding of the persona that defined much of his earlier work.
I mean, what do you think that signifies for him as an artist?
It's hard to say for sure, but it could be a reflection of his personal growth, a desire to move beyond the anger and aggression that characterized his earlier work.
Or maybe it's a commentary on the current state of hip-hop, like saying that era is over.
It's definitely thought-provoking, and it speaks to his ability to constantly evolve, keep people guessing, push the boundaries of his art, from rapping in Detroit basements to performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, winning an Oscar, becoming one of the best-selling artists of all time.
What a journey.
His impact on hip-hop and popular culture, I mean, it's undeniable.
He popularized the genre in Middle America, broke racial barriers for white rappers, inspired countless artists with his style and lyrical prowess.
He's a cultural icon.
A lightning rod for controversy.
And a symbol of resilience.
Absolutely.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of Eminem, exploring the highs and lows, the triumphs and controversies. What stands out to you the most about his story?
I think it's his relentless drive to evolve, to never settle for what he's already achieved.
Yeah, he's a master of reinvention.
Constantly challenging himself and his audience.
Eminem's story is a reminder that growth and change are always possible. Even after achieving incredible success, he's complex, contradictory. There's no denying his talent, his impact, and his enduring legacy. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Eminem.